Hi, this is 15. I'm Luke Coddy, and with me is Dan Wade. Hello, Dan.
Hi.
I was going to say thank you for listening then, but of course you could also be watching. This is our fourth attempt at a live video cast. That explains the very poor quality that has been over the last four. If you do want to watch it, go to YouTube and look for our channel, which is 15 Podcast. Dan, how are you finding adjusting to video?
I love it. I think, if anything, a lot of my humor.
Shame the camera doesn't love you. Your humor, sorry, you're going to do some visual comedy for us. Lee Evans, ladies and gentlemen. They always say the best comics rely on visual comedy. Oh, that's a visual exclusive there for you guys that are watching the podcast. So it's not give it anyway. No, don't give it away.
Oh, this is my cock, and you're just pleased to see me.
That's
the line from the Bond film, isn't it?
How's your week been, Dan?
You don't care about that. How's your week been? Of course, 1 week till the big day.
Yeah, birthday
big
next
2-6.
week.
Bag of dicks, 2-6.
No podcast next week.
Why not?
My birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, should I do one from Newcastle? Should I do one from the hotel?
Why are you? What do you mean? You're away? You're disrupting the schedule?
Yeah.
But I'm only allowed to speak to you 1 day a week. Why? Okay. Why are you moving that?
For those that haven't listened to the podcast before, we watch the first 15 minutes of 3 films and then choose one to watch the full installment of in time for next week to review it for you. Last week, the film that won out was Heat. Dan, why don't you let us start? I think the only way to get you to stop doing those fucking incredibly annoying motions is to talk. So why don't you start with Heat?
I'll give the synopsis, but I always start. So why don't you begin with your review? So Heat, we've got Pacino as a cop, a slick cop. He's a genius, and he's going up against Robert De Niro, the genius crook, who's with his crew, and they are pulling off one last heist.
Yeah, use the word genius
again.
There
you go. I guess you could say there are a couple of geniuses or 2 genii.
So what I noticed pretty early on is De Niro is one hell of an actor, isn't he? Oh my goodness!
You heard it here first, folks. Luke's noticed that Robert De Niro is a hell of an actor.
Neck on the line. Call me crazy. He's good, isn't he?
Well, we've reviewed De Niro a few times. I think we did Dirty Grandpa, and he was pretty flawless in that.
That's the height that he probably attained during Heat, and he managed to stay there for so long.
Yeah,
that's what people.
You don't get into Dirty Grandpa without having some big films under your belt.
But wasn't it just enjoyable to see him put in normal situations, like when he was meeting the woman at the bar, and you can just sort of see his emotions like turn on a dime. But it's
the clowns dancing around him was a bit of a giveaway, but
what, turn on a dime? I don't get that.
No, and you said normal situation. I was trying to. It was riffing.
Okay, I'll keep going. So are you using that as your interlude? That was your part.
That would be my.
What I liked about this was a film that was really trying to build a fully fledged 3-dimensional understanding of the men. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of this was, I think, a lot of the film was trying to say was these men align so much in their personality and their behavior. They're both sort of obsessive, compulsive guys, but one has focused that on hunting, and one has sort of focused that on taking, really. And so I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like those terms you've used there, hunting, while one has used it, because I in my review I sort of put that they're both cut from the same cloth, but one's taking it for good and one's
both touching the what.
But that you're right in that, yeah, they're using the same set of skills, but one's predatory and one's still predatory, but in a different kind of predator. God, it trips off the tongue.
I tell you what, Predator versus Predator was one hell of a film last week, wasn't it? Didn't you find as well the way, because it was quite slow, I guess. There was only about 4 real action scenes in it, wasn't it, in the whole thing? And it was a 2-hour, 45-minute film.
250.
And so what I
didn't realize that, by the way.
Oh, me neither. I suggested it with Claude, sat down, saw it was 250. And you know when it's one of those where, for me, I really struggled to hear it and I needed the subtitles on. I forgot the subtitles. Oh, no, because there was an issue with the sound mixing. all the auxiliary and ancillary noises were brought up to the same level as the vocal. And so it was really quite hard to discern what they were saying. But I couldn't put the subtitles on because I know it brings up the time bar. So I waited an hour and 20 minutes to do it. And then Cody's like, there's still an hour and a half left of this.
I had to stop watching. I watched 15 minutes. I got to 40 minutes. I was
Tell
too
me
tired.
about it. I haven't finished.
No. And then I returned it on. I was like, I've watched. I saw that I had 2 hours left. And I was like, oh, it's a 2-hour film. Not realizing that I'd already watched 50 minutes of it. I was like, fucking hell, this is going on.
Yeah, it is. But what I enjoyed though was
it was good though. I didn't. It's not well paced, and
we'll come to the cafe scene, I'm sure. But by keeping these sort of two formidable objects apart, did you not? It sort of reminded me of like, you know, when you see like cosmic patterns, and you learn that like two meteors in like 4,000 years are going to meet and like collide, and you're just waiting and waiting for them to actually do meet. But before we get there, do you want to talk?
I had cat and mouse, but yeah, I guess two meteors cosmically not meeting for 4,000 years works. I think just want to touch on one thing.
Sorry, that was my main point there.
Okay. Well, there you go, folks. The next films. Tell us what you think. No. You mentioned about establishing these male characters, but I think that's something the film did fantastically, was establishing relationships between characters very succinctly. And it always felt quite effortless. And yet at the same time, it was very, I put the word resolute, but I guess I mean just very, like, it's very clear. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, De Niro's very matter of fact, isn't he?
Well, I was talking more about, I think it's highlighted better in the Pacino side of things with his relationship with his wife and stepdaughter. I think there was no doubt in my mind. There wasn't a big drawn out thing of, oh, darling, you know, it was there was tension and there was action and reaction to the situations that they were going through. And there was no exposition about it. We didn't get any long-winded stuff like that or any kind of backstory. We were just thrown in the middle of this relationship and you had to get it. But I think that's a real strength of the film is, I put an exquisite job of establishing these relationships. I actually think on the flip side though, De Niro's relationship with his lady in it, I didn't like. I think that, no, not at all. I didn't. And I feel like I think it was only included for that scene at the very end where he looks at her as he sees Pacino chasing him, and he looks at her and he makes a decision. And I think she's only included for that scene. I think they had that scene first and worked backwards.
I completely agree, and that is going to come to the cafe scene. Let's come to that in a moment. But yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying about basically it was forever, every scene was forever adding an extra layer of either understanding or tension. That's what.
But for them, that's their relationship. De Niro and it's Amy Brennan is the actor name. I was gonna say. Oh yeah, Brennan.
That's definitely Brennan's work. That's her all over that scene. Do you know she didn't use the scripts?
It just moved too fast.
That's why she never got hired again.
Ever? Have you ever heard of
it? Sorry, you were saying?
No, I just think it moved too fast, and there wasn't.
What moved too fast? 2 hours, fucking 50 minutes.
No, it didn't. Yeah, but there was some huge set pieces. Just their relationship. It went from I've met you at a bar to I'm running away with you and I'm risking everything to be with you. De Niro shouldn't have cared. I think his character, or they didn't do enough with them too on screen to make it feel like this is such a true, you know, falling in love at first sight. It didn't feel like that. It felt too clinical from De Niro's point of view.
So as the film moves along, there's quite a nice sort of center of the book, really, where they meet and they go for get a coffee together. Basically,
do you reckon that's Pacino's rider? I'll only do a film if I get a big, powerful scene in the middle and I'm in a cafe or a restaurant.
I don't know where you want to riff. Oh, right, okay. I did wonder where you were going with that.
Turn that sound off.
It's all right. No one noticed. You wish you hit that so well. So they were basically constantly goading one another and upping one another out there. That's what's going on. They're feeding off each other back and forth.
But it's cat and mouse, right? Because neither they're
it's cat versus cat. That's what I've always thought.
Yeah.
And
Sexual.
there's a scene. The coffee scene is very good because we get to see them opposite one another. However, there's a few issues with this scene for me.
Oh, did you?
And it's for the foreboding parts. So one of them you mentioned, as he tries to think for the second one. So the one that you mentioned was, oh yeah, I got it. Yeah. One thing you mentioned was the 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, you've got to be prepared to lose your life and walk away from it. And that is precisely why they added on his romance exactly for that scene. And instantly, as soon as that happened, you knew what was going to happen there. And then secondly, the back and forth about the I almost said the flip flop.
I'm gonna kill you.
That smells.
That's my word. That's what I use.
About do not hesitate. If they get a chance to take one another out, don't hesitate. And you knew as soon as that came out, very much like a Michael Mann film, a Michael Mann action film and stuff. It's like, oh, and these are men like who very much, another way that they are comparable is that they stick to their word. You know what I mean? They're very much men of their words. Pacino even says that in like a rant when he's found out that his wife slept with that random geeky guy.
Sit there, Dave. Sit there. I don't mind you bagging my wife, but you're not watching my telly.
But the issue is you knew one of them was going to shoot the other. I honestly knew it. And then as soon as the call comes through telling De Niro where Wayne Grohl's location is, I knew then in the film, I was like, oh, I honestly completely knew it was going to happen. And the tension started to evaporate for me. Imagine the tension was still there in the hotel scene. But I knew it was going to be those two and a sort of a shootout. And he was going to shoot.
But isn't that kind of, it's quite a classic tale, and we've probably seen it before. But I think it's it's a very good telling of that story. I'm quite happy to forgive those faux pas, if you can call them that, because I think the way it does it is phenomenal.
No, it's a very well put together film. What was your favorite scene? I'm hoping it might be the same as mine. Should I tell you mine? Mine was the "Are you in on the job?" scene. I thought that was so good. Do you know when they stood around and they're basically saying, "Are you in on the," and De Niro's saying, "Are you in on the job?"
When they're talking about the family.
And so Val Kilmer's obviously going to be in on the job with him. You kind of get that one. And Michael Torino is then asked. I like that. Sorry, we use everyone's actor name apart from Michael Torino because I can't remember the actor's name. But Michael Torino is actually the character name. And you know he's going to say, yeah, but it's like, you've made enough money. You know what I mean? I thought this guy was going to be in trouble before because he was the one that the FBI or whatever had been in on. They'd sort of locked their target on. And that's the way they'd worked into the gang. And you think, oh, God, just say no, just say no. But like, they're just so in awe of De Niro's character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never been in a heist, wink, wink. But this is like, it felt entirely believable. Yeah, it felt entirely believable, didn't it? Like, fantastic, that scene.
I think mine is sort of, I don't know if it's a scene, but I
only asked if I could say mine. I don't care.
Okay.
So, right. So what really no, go on.
No, I guess it would have to be the interplay between Pacino, Diane Venora, and Natalie Portman. So that's the
Diane Venora.
Yeah, of course.
It was her over that scene.
Those run of scenes I really bought into. I thought Pacino was really good at, especially with about Natalie Portman at the end. I really was like, he handled that scene really well for me. I thought I was really.
Pacino had some very, very loud, big, shouty scenes in this. I just imagine you doing impressions when he was doing it. He had some mental shouting scenes. Absolutely screeching.
My final point I'd like to make, I guess.
I've got 7 more points.
Good. Well, you can have the run at the end. You said it in the first 15 we watched last week, which was, you said about how seamless the opening was, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of a set piece and it was like, oh wow, I've just watched a set piece, and it was fantastic. And there were a number of set pieces in this, and they all crept up on you quite subtly. I think, like you would say, the end when the hotel, that's a huge set piece. The bank escape thing is a huge set piece.
Oh, that was amazing. That one.
How
good did this guns sound? And that's like quite a nerdy point, but guns have never sounded so good in film. They sound incredible.
The spectacle of that scene, like Michael Bay to compare. You know, would
we
do a
go.
huge big
Here we
action
go.
film.
Dan's getting back on his soapbox.
No, but he's got no. This is just a masterclass in this, isn't it? You know, compared to what this guy's producing and so many others. It's just so well put together, and just it flows so naturally, and it grows as a scene. It gets bigger. It starts to climax, and it was fantastic. That scene alone was just awesome.
As well as the scenes and the sort of cinematic spectacle there was huge payoffs, like emotional payoffs. Like the aftermath was really crushing. Margarino's character, we knew it was going to happen. He was like a doomed character, wasn't he? Like it all sort of felt doomed. It felt like a bit like a Greek tragedy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it sort of felt like all of these characters were just doomed, and even the ones that were successful were sort of haunted by it. Do you know what I mean? Like their personal lives were unraveling, and that affected their professional performance. But it was their professional performance that was actually creating the unraveling. That sort of circle.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. It's a tragedy. This film. There's a crime drama action film. And it's a very good one of those, but it's at its heart is a tragedy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's two great men in their own right, slowly falling apart at the seams.
I was trying to pick up on a deeper understanding to sort of the City of Lights. Do you know what I mean? So much of the film had the central characters in focus, and behind them it had the spot blurs of the lights. Could you think of one? Because I know obviously they're in LA. Maybe he's just trying to keep showing the LA. Like it's meant to be noir, isn't it? So I guess that's probably what that was. And also one other thing I felt was really interesting was the isolation of the film, especially De Niro's character. Like his apartment was like harrowing, just to see. Like it was literally like the shots of like on Zoopla or whatever, when it was like an unfurnished apartment. Like, that's literally what they all were. That was that was super interesting. I did absolutely love the characters, the two main ones. Also, one other thing, I loved how Danny Trejo's character from Spy Kids, obviously Spy Kids fame, he was just called Trejo. Like usually they sometimes have like an actor's first name, the character's name. It's like, oh, that's quite neat. It's obviously because like no one can remember their name on set, but to name their surname after him because he's like so much of an unknown. Like imagine Pacino's character being called Pacino. Also, one other thing, I've always wanted to air this, and this is not much of a platform, but it's more of a platform than I've had previously. Al Pacino, if you are watching, there is it might be, there is a takeaway place, like I've said, a crappy pizza place in Colne, in Lancashire, called Al Pacino's.
In the UK.
In the UK. I'm almost certain Al Pacino has not given his blessing to that place. Right. Horrible hygiene standards. I've got a pizza there once, absolutely vile, and I'll eat my crap pizza. The secret to a good pizza,
out of bins,
is it? Let's not go back down the path. The secret to a good pizza, Dan, it tastes just as good cold in the morning.
Correct.
99% of takeaway pizzas don't. Al Pacino's is very much included in that. But anyway, Pacino, if you are watching, I'm pointing a lot. Very authoritative today. But it doesn't just rile me up.
If he's not watching and he glances at this, he will do.
Okay, I'm quite liking this score out of 10 thing. I'm still sort of reeling from the fact I give Point Break a 7. I can't quite believe I did that. And I'm quite a harsh marker. So 7 for me is like a really good score.
Yeah, but Point Break had something, didn't it? Je ne sais quoi.
It did have a je ne sais quoi. It had heart. I know it's cliched, but it had heart.
And if you want to define and distill that je ne sais quoi into Patrick Swayze, because God, that man.
Right. What are you giving this out of 10?
I give it 8.5. There were just a couple of things that I felt were too deliberate to make it a 9 for me. And it wasn't perfect, which is a 10. But it was better than it was good.
That sounds harsh, but it's definitely maybe it's not. It's like, you know, those films that you put into the bracket of Get Out, in that bracket, like a film that you just recommend someone, you know, you can recommend to just about anyone.
Yeah,
and
it's
good. They'll give it an 8. But this is like slightly too long to do that for anyone. It was a bit long, wasn't it?
250. There was a time, I think that's in part why I was falling asleep, because it wasn't gripping enough in that sort of first hour.
Yeah, it got. At least you didn't notice. It got.
But then
spare the listeners.
It did build after that initial heist, the sort of worrying it out, I guess, to then let's go for him. Was a bit lacking. It could have had some time shaved.
You're falling off your chair there, Dan. So, don't worry, the microphone will pick you up. Okay, so Dan,
Maybe I need like a Britney head mic. That would be. Then I can fully get my range.
Everyone needs a Britney head mic. So
You know
3
who
films.
doesn't? A dad.
3.
Satire.
I don't get it.
The dad's not let it go, any.
Right.
Britney's free. It's in the news.
Is it your plan to completely derail this show at every turn? Like, do you set up on that? Right. Nomadland, Best Picture.
Yes.
Couple of film buffs. We love the Oscars.
We love it.
We haven't got around to watching this film yet. For about 6 months of probably when we should have done. What? Try that again. Nomadland, Dan. We watched the first 15 minutes. What did you think?
In a word, bleak.
I've got bleak down.
Oh.
Looks like I'm lying, but I have got it down somewhere. I wrote it
Looks
down
like your
somewhere.
hand's writing the word bleak.
Very bleak.
Few notes. I was quite enthralled, actually. No, I think that's a good thing. I was enjoying watching it. I think Frances McDormand is a very honest performance. I think she's, it feels very gritty and without feeling overplayed.
I felt somewhat similar to that. I felt she was given free reign.
Yeah.
Complete free reign to do whatever she wanted to do with that character.
And confident, but there was confidence. You could tell that they were happy to let her do that, and she delivered. I can see why. Very good. I guess
we're not steam, Dan.
No. I guess I've put the word "sad state of the nation" and I put international. I guess
a word
from a politics point of view of the film. Is it saying? Because there was very good imagery.
And let's shut the fuck up. Let's talk a politics point of view.
No, but there's very good imagery and storyboarding contrast. She was working in Amazon, then she's in the remote van. She's cold, and then she's in this hustle and bustle. There's very much protocol, and then there's free reign. It's just in 50 minutes you get that. And I guess is it saying, and with quite a bleak opening of this, in 2011. After 88 years, this company closed and let down all its employees. And is it calling? I think it is, isn't it? It's calling the powers that be to account for that. And I don't think that's localized to just America and Midwest America. I think that's quite an international feeling at the moment. I don't
know. So when I thought about this film was, it's very similar to the neo-realism films, like the Italian films. So like Bicycle Thieves.
The Neo, sorry. That's Netflix film. The Matrix.
So like Rome Open City was one I was made to forced to watch during doing film and stuff. And like Bicycle Thieves is another one. Where in the wrong hands, those basically they don't use actors. That's kind of the point of it. Okay. And it's
bicycles.
In the wrong hands, it's kind of like, so what? You know what I mean? Why am I watching this? Like, so what? Like, imagine those, those bits in like the small talk in soaps. Like when MJ died, like Patrick said to that woman on EastEnders, like, "Oh, MJ is dead." The next one moves on. And it's just that. I don't know where I was going with that. I thought you picked me up on Patrick. You know Patrick, right?
Yeah, I'm struggling with MJ.
Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael Jackson died, and like EastEnders were like really.
You think Patrick did a quote?
He had a glove on, didn't he? Find a timing glove on.
You need to give listeners and viewers the link to the most famous EastEnders moment when Ian's first wife, or maybe second, was pushed down the stairs and Pat Butcher found her. So soaps
are quite different in the UK compared to America. In America, they're very like sort of home and away. In the UK,
in Britain,
they just believe.
Adam Woodyat.
So this
film, do you know what his filmography is other than EastEnders?
There isn't
EastEnders specials.
So what was I going with this one? It's very sad, and it's just downright depressing.
This woman
was preparing for this woman was preparing for retirement to spend with her husband. They've worked to the bone, stumps Franz, and she said, then he dies.
A lot of inference.
She dies, and then
she dies. And we're watching Coco.
Oh, I was going to say something then. Forget this is live and I can't edit it out. Right. I'll tell you what Mike was going to say. Sorry.
Oh, there's a tidbit for listeners. We'll have to record it. And if you sign up to our Patreon for 20 quid, you can get Luke's uncut, unbroadcastable comments.
I don't know what you know what to say about this film. It was very sad. When they mentioned the van thing, do you know what I mean? Someone mentioned, and this mentioned in hushed tones. It's like when like straight upper lip people mention like lesbian and they can't like fully say it and that sort of thing. Like they always like it's a taboo to mention that she's homeless. I don't know. I'm freewheeling here.
I'm laughing at upper lipped people as opposed to the people without upper lips.
Don't show off with upper lips.
I think you're missing the key stiff
Insane
word there.
Knew you pick up on that one. But this is very much a character over narrative film. And as you say, the narrative is sort of formed by the theme of injustice in the country. And it's focusing on the 99%. Do you know what I mean? Not that 1%. That 1% does sound fun. You know what I mean? Every time they mention that 99% thing's like, oh, that 1% sounds good, doesn't it?
You'd rather be there. But that's the thing. Socialism.
Anyway, it seems like a difficult to love film. I hope it starts to get uplifting, but all the other characters are like cretinous folks. I can't stand that one. Speaking of no upper lips, that one with no fucking front teeth. Old hag.
Quite annoying, wasn't she?
Oh, she was well annoying. That's why I thought it was neorealism, because I thought this person's too annoying to be like acting. I think it's just like a normal old woman.
But was that just a normal person? And Frances McDormand is so good that she's just like, she's basking in her own rays. She's not giving any out. She's not like the sun. She's like the moon.
Sounds like a term for very extravagant wanking. I'm basking in my own.
Right.
Also, I know it's.
What are you doing there? I'm basking in my own rays.
Although,
would you rather be a hammerhead or a basking shark?
Although it's a thinker, would you have any interest in watching this film after watching the first 15 minutes if you never heard about it before and it never been mentioned at the Oscars and it had never won like Best Director, Best Picture, Best Actress? It hadn't won any of those things. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would go by the wayside.
It's just going to be a sad.
But then I still haven't seen 3 billboards outside Missouri.
Oh, I tried it.
With that.
I tried it. No, don't. Honestly, I got 20 minutes into it on a plane. I thought, fuck this.
Hey, what's that? You in another podcast? 20 on a plane. That's quite good.
Anyway, have you got anything else to say? I actually wrote the MJ anecdote.
Why are you so sure? I think there's a disservice to this film and the performance, which was very good already, for you to your only worthwhile note to have been Patrick talking about MJ's death in EastEnders.
They definitely did. Denise. It was Patrick and Denise. Denise says it to Patrick. And she goes, I can't believe about MJ. And he goes, oh, no. Yeah. And then that was verbatim. Not very good actors. Adam Woodyat. Okay. So, Dan,
next film.
Are you interested in seeing? We probably should watch that, shouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
We can't really call ourselves a film podcast if we're not watching Best Picture, the Oscars. Christ, come on.
Yeah. And out of the other 3, or the 2, sorry.
Well, it's not going to be this one, is it? Fucking hell. Should we go on to the next one? Okay.
Let's move on.
All right, Dan, talk about the next film.
So it's the anticipated Cruella.
Not even.
We watched all these.
Anticipated, just anticipated.
Well, it sort of was for me. I think Cruella de Vil, the Disney villain, is like iconic, and I don't think I'm the first person to think that. But I think part of her iconicism is the fact that she's just horrible. And I had a lot of issues when I heard this film was being made with trying to.
You're getting the done, yeah. When will you release from hospital?
Because it's a Disney film, there has to be an element of reconciliation, right? Because otherwise, they're not just going to tell a horrible, dark film. They're not going to make the Joker, about Cruella, which is kind of what you want. You want it to be bad, but because they're making it a Disney film, there's going to be an arc of redemption, and I believe that Cruella's villainy of the fact that she wants to kill dogs, innocent creatures, and Dalmatians because of their fur. That's unredeemable. That is straight up. She wants something and she's going to go and get it. And to try and redeem that does a disservice to her her essence as a character. And from what I've watched in these first 15 minutes, I feel like I'm kind of going to, that expectation and that worry is going to be met, because there were too many little moments where, and I saw somebody was saying this in another review thing I was watching, and it was like, when you do prequel films, not everything has to have a link. You don't have to. So like Horace and Jasper are in this. Why are they in this? Like, they don't have to be in this. We can believe that Cruella, on her own volition, gets to idiot henchmen. We don't have to know that she's been with them since she was 10 years old, and that they were an integral part. We're clever enough to do that. We don't, she's born with black and white hair. She has a little puppy, so that's why she loves dogs, but the dogs kill her mum, so she hates Dalmatians. It's all so neat, and life isn't neat. And this would be far better if it had just had its own convictions and tried to just tell. It would have been better if it had just been a bad film, like not a bad, like a bad as in evil film, rather than a Disney whitewashed film.
They're literally trying to make a sort of Machiavellian, mischievous character twee. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just how I have seen far too fucking many London orphaners on film for my lifetime. I am fed up. I'm so fed up with them.
Yeah, but you did used to watch Oliver on repeat.
I wish I was called it. And it's just so fucking annoying. Like,
we called it.
We said took you a while. It looks like we razor sharp then.
Thought about it too much.
But as will the audience. Oh fuck! You actually completely thrown me. Where are we going with that? Oh, that was it. This is a kids' film.
Yeah,
like, this is just straight up a kids' film. Like Disney. I mean, I'm not a Disney fan really. I like Pixar because Pixar's, as we said, we've said this lots of times, but it's a film that is appreciated in buckets by the younger audience and the older audience for two completely separate,
should have died,
but as hard-hitting reasons. Actually, jumping off this for a second because I'm wavering a little bit. Let's jump on a different rant. No animal at all has done better from a filmic misrepresentation than Dalmatians. They are fucking horrible dogs. I'm a dog lover. I absolutely love dogs.
Don't talk about your girlfriend like that. I've told you this before.
Okay, now I have met a bunch of dogs in my lifetime. What? It's like that race. I'm gonna be a racist. I've got mates that are racist. No, I've got mates that are black. What?
I'm not a racist. I just surround myself with racists every day.
But do
you ever go to rallies with your mates?
Aren't they horrible? Like, Dalmatians are horrible. Short,
especially when they're animated. Why were they animated?
Oh, right.
In
this they were very bad. Okay, good point. Let's get back to the film. It had this sort of, it gave the impression it was going to be cool.
I thought that was your point we were going to make.
I thought
no animal has done. I thought you were going to say what? I thought you were going to say that dogs have done so well out of film. Why would they take this opportunity to not use dogs?
Okay, good point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they didn't use dogs. It's almost as if you can't train 3 dogs to viciously try and attack an 8-year-old and get signed off from an insurance company. Bizarre, isn't it?
But you could train them to knock a woman off a cliff.
So the issue with the film,
like that scene out of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Caribbean. Oh my god! I thought of a word.
I'm not a racist.
I thought of a word that was the perfect word to say in a Jamaican accent yesterday. I literally said it to Claudia. I went, "Oh, that's
beer
the perfect
can."
Word. No, is it appraisal?
Appraisal.
Something like that. Anyway, we'll come back to me. The film. So 15 minutes in, we don't even get to see any bit of Emma Stone.
The best part about it was her narration.
It's a bit annoying. And the film moved. It moved at a kid. Yeah, I was annoyed. I was irritated by the whole thing. It moved at a kid's pace, didn't it? The first 15 minutes, we didn't see Emma Stone, letting the kids catch up, sort of getting to grips with it. When really, absolutely none of that was needed. I couldn't care less. It feels a bit like they're trying to make it fit like a film feature length. Do you know, a little bit like Beauty and the Beast? They managed to find an extra 40 minutes for the live action, which was not remotely necessary.
No.
It sort of felt a little bit like that.
Felt like that film was entirely unnecessary. But...
Yeah, very true, Dan. Also, the headmaster
didn't win the best score or anything else, did it? That film? No,
Also,
the headmaster. Let's go on to that.
Right.
This is the feature that we're doing now when we don't do it in the name and shame this actor.
Oh, that's good. Dan, I like that. So he's very clearly from like Panto or like adverts. Like actors from adverts. It's like a Yakult advert or something. Anyway, it just throws it back. Have you ever tried a Yakult?
No.
It's like live bacteria.
Is that...
It's like no shit.
Oh yeah, I know. What
horrible. You never tried one?
Are they like oysters? Is that why you meant to throw them back?
Yeah.
Better with a bit of Tabasco and salt.
So he's called Leo Bill. Describe him for the I want to say viewers.
That's like Ricky Bobby, isn't it? In Talladega Nights. Leo Bill.
Tell him about Leo Bill.
I'm surprised I know so much about Talladega Nights.
I'm surprised you know. I've seen that film, but I couldn't pick the character out. Is that Gary Cole's character, the dad? Or is that just the main character? Is
Will
that
Ferrell.
Will Ferrell's character? Oh, sorry. So if I say, is that Gary Cole, the dad? And you go, I don't know, it's Will Ferrell. You do know. So it's Will Ferrell. I don't know. You got me stumped. I don't know. It's Will Ferrell.
I'm clueless, mate. Don't fucking ask me.
So Leo Bill has won an award for acting. When you come across an actor who's very clearly just filled out their Wikipedia page, Dominic Burgess, and
hey, I will have no bad words spoken about the man.
He's coming on the podcast.
He would have been good at.
He's coming on the podcast. I haven't told you ever. Well, when I say he's coming on the podcast, he has responded to an email.
He's responded.
Mm-hmm. He's no. Okay, so
that was cruel.
He won 2006 Fantastic Best Actor for The Living and the Dead.
Which was he? Dead? Lying on the floor?
He's not living. He's not. Basically, he's a headmaster.
What was he like?
Can you tell us about this character? Let's name and shame him. So describe. You're the actor, Dan. Do you know what I actually thought? I think
chewing the scenery is what he was doing.
If Dan in another life would have been this guy in this film, I think if Dan had been dealt slightly different cards, I can see you popping up for like tertiary roles in like films.
Yes.
Dan's still Dan. This is not over for Dan.
What do you mean? I get different cards.
It's
card number 3.
You're doing some sort of deep method acting, aren't you, currently? You're hoping to play a pub manager in your next film. Picture it, aren't you?
I'm at bar, Jim.
Can you please
it's a film about a guy called Jim.
Right,
he was just chewing the scenery. He was just so hammed up, melodramatic, stamping his blotting book. And I think he plays into a larger problem, actually, that this whole montage, this whole opening 15 minutes, the whole 15 minutes could have been done in like an 8-minute montage, much faster, much snappier, and would have been slicker and felt more alive and more edgy, because it's her going on about how edgy she is as a kid. And it's basically just kind of Oliver Twist to start with. Like, it's just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It should be sharper. Come on, let's get it going. And you kept saying throughout, didn't you? When's Emma Stone coming on screen? Like, that's the film.
I'm a bit worried about this also, this mock psychology, like this sort of, she's got schizophrenia and it's like she wants to be like a Harley Quinn wannabe sort of character. The trailer felt very much like this is just the weird, let's jump on the back of sort of extreme mental illness for characters. I'm not having a go at mental illness thing there. I'm just saying it's just a bit boring. A bit boring, isn't it?
I
actually know your audience. Who's your audience for this? It seems to me like it's like 14-year-old emo girls that slightly don't want to be emo.
I have a worry about the rest of this film. It's just Emma Thompson, big fan, always makes it onto our first grey and red couch. Always, that's the kind of gal we want. All right.
Mm-hmm. She can't write a screenplay though.
A bit like Melissa. Sense and Sensibility is pretty good. Got an Oscar for it.
The Last Christmas, or whatever it's called. Last Christmas.
Yeah. But this is what I mean. She's sort of on that way down, maybe. And I worry about that.
Of course she is.
And she's taking.
Why did she
roles
sack
like
you as
this?
her agent? I'm going to be honest with you, Emma. That way down. You've seen the charts. Put work into them. Color coded.
Throw enough shit, it'll stick.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm moving
That's
on.
not
here.
the right phrase. Moving on to one of our favourite films ever.
Oh,
Luke and I.
Are you wanting to watch that film?
Well, me and my girlfriend are probably going to watch it, but I'm not going to watch it in the context of this. So,
All right. Let us know how it is.
I will. I'll give you a few words. I doubt it will meet my expectations. Oh, it will meet my expectations.
Speaking of schizophrenia, starting to cut off the voice now. Like they're both coming from one place at the same time.
What do you mean? I don't know.
So the final film. This is my favorite film when I was about 14. It's Dodgeball.
Yeah.
We both
When
seen
you
it.
were 14. I think
14?
this rates quite highly in my comedy list.
Well, I haven't seen
funny.
it. Qualification. I haven't seen it in so long. Dan, tell us a little bit about this.
Luke and I quote this film at least a minimum every 2 weeks. It comes up a lot in our friendship. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Rip Torn is phenomenal in this.
You crazy old man. I ain't crazy and I'm not a man. Necessary? Is it necessary for me to drink my own urine?
Nope. No,
it's
Betches. It's
sterile.
Sterile and I like
The
taste.
So Ben Stiller is underrated as hell, innit? Let's be honest. I forgot how
He's a
much
funny
I like this film just for his character. He seems like a roid rage Willy Wonka, with all the purple going on.
Yeah, oh yeah, I see that.
He is absolutely mesmerizing in this film.
Great.
He's fantastic. He's so high energy. He's carried. He's literally playing on steroids.
But his beat is on point, even for the sarcastic humor. He plays it so sincere that it's just elevated, right?
Beat. Yeah.
And just
Dead
I don't know. there's very much comedies. A lot of comedies have exposition, right?
Dan, can I ask one question? Did you like many notes for this film?
Yeah, I wrote funny. I laugh a lot at this film. Good sarcastic humor. Great way of getting through exposition. That's it.
Okay.
Which I think are all true. In the first 50 minutes, we get the whole premise. It's done high energy, funny.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the very ending, you were laughing your head off at Matey Boy shaking his head and nodding.
In stuff in other films, you wouldn't. There is a sort of charm to this film.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a little
what
within
did you
its
say?
means.
After the advert with Ben Stiller, what did you say? Never is there more an opening to a early 2000, early naughty.
God. The music,
Spawn.
and then it's playing through the voicemails. He's just like a sort of a burnout character, isn't he? Also, how does Vince Vaughn run a gym? He's not in shape. He's in shape as I am in that film. It's like me running a gym. That would just be absolutely mental. No wonder it's financially crippled.
Average Joe's.
Oh yeah. Okay. Also, some other thing.
Also, it's not called Joe.
It's called Vaughn. It's like Danny Trejo's character. So,
Chicken, that's a rider he has.
I was going to
I learn many lines, but I will not learn character names.
Ben Stiller's wife, whatever she's called, Christine something, isn't she?
Baranski.
Yeah. Her character says Ms. Now, the issue with Ms. is that there's not a single woman on earth that is married that is masquerading as a Ms.
Miss Moneypenny?
No, it's Miss Moneypenny. Not Ms. Ms. Moneypenny. Maybe it is in the modern ones. Sorry, I really thought you'd go with me on that one. It's not the time to be writing notes.
No, she's called Christine Taylor.
That's it.
And they're still married.
I thought they were estranged. I saw I was on Take a Break.
All right.
Pick one of them up. So they were estranged. Also, whilst I was in Australia,
I only watch Heat. Read Heat.
Whilst I was in Australia, for the whole time I was there, about 7 months, every single magazine told me that Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt had a baby coming, right? And I'm not on Facebook or whatever. I came back expecting them to have had a baby. The entire thing was bollocks for 7 months. Total bollocks. Like someone's trying to play a prank on people. What?
Was it the same magazine and Claudia just kept putting it on top of every news agent you're in?
It's really good. It's very good, Dan. Also, why is there a fucking pirate in this film?
He's the pirate. Why
It's
would
like-
you not?
It's like they finished the film and someone went, "Oh, we probably should have one more character." It's like, why doesn't he be a pirate? It's almost not funny enough to offset the oddness. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
quite pay off the joke.
It's a
just
weird note throughout the whole through. You know, people who
It
are
is
like
a weird
that,
note throughout the whole through.
Chris Froome.
Surprised you know a sportsman. That was impressive. Well, cyclist, the nerdiest of all sports. The necrophilia joke was good.
Well,
This is unraveled, isn't it?
yeah, we need to wrap this up.
Yep. Well, unraveled, rap, very good, Dan.
Oh,
I think we've got 10 more
Slim
minutes in this.
Shady. So we like this film a lot. We wanted to watch it again
Don't
to
describe
see if it
it.
holds up.
Don't describe it.
It's funny, it's witty, it's quick, it's moving
Comedy.
fast.
Ben Stiller used to play a
co-
fat man who's now a very small, angry man who's angry because he's tempted by food and he has to resist it all the time. That's basically what he does. And it's very funny.
I like the
Vince
line
Vaughn's
Ben
an average-
Stiller used to play a fat man. It's a pretty terrible way of describing Ben Stiller.
Also, one thing I'm very excited to rewatch because I haven't seen this film for ages is Jason Bateman is awesome in this film as like the co-commentator. Do you remember him as like the cool guy?
You got it, Cotton.
He's so good. I'm excited for that bit. Well,
Yeah, they will need the whole point there. He's chewing the whole time. I forgot it's Jason Bateman.
Are you at all ashamed that we're going to watch? Oh, sorry, there's my microphone. I realize I've been sat about 30 seconds further back than I should have the whole podcast.
Yeah.
Re-record. No. Are you at all embarrassed that we are going to watch Dodgeball? I think we've both seen over the best picture at the Oscars for this year.
No.
Seeing as I wouldn't mind.
Should we just watch both?
Yeah, probably should, shouldn't we?
Because Dodgeball, the other great thing about Dodgeball is, this has just turned into a Dodgeball appreciation, is it's only like an hour and 20. It's quick. Sticks to its guns.
It's not an hour 20. If it's an hour 20, I'm watching it tonight. There's no way. There's no. Oh, I didn't tell you. Should I tell you what I watched midweek then? Should I tell you? Who gives
Was
a
it The
fuck?
Secret
Who's going to
Life of
answer?
Walter Mitty?
I watched When I See Mr. Fox again.
Oh, I watched that the other week.
Absolutely.
It's 1 hour 38.
Lies, man. Does it make
Only
you happy
18
lying?
minutes. Yeah, it does.
Uh,
I'm wearing trousers.
yeah. Okay, let's sign it off there. Okay, so next week we'll be reviewing Dodgeball. Let's just
No, I'll review Nomadland. You review Dodgeball.
We're not
There
going
you go.
back to fucking both of us doing that again. One film works, as this episode
Yeah.
can clearly show. So we'll be back next
We'll
week.
be watching Nomadland,
Dan, next week, what are the films we're going to review?
Matrix,
Yeah,
Palm
The Tourist.
Springs, and The Tourist.
There we are. Matrix, Palm Springs, and The Tourist. That's it. That's it for next week. And between then, we're watching Dodgeball. I was hoping you were going to jump in there, but I remember I have to wrap up the show because you just
do.
not trusted.
I guess you could say I dodged that.
See you next week.
Dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Bye.